For a number of years, I guess you would say that they were considered more of a junior type college. But as years have gone on, and they found that the largest percentage of our school teachers and college professors in our Negro schools come from our Negro colleges, we well recognize the fact that there's a need for them.
Well, I really don't like to talk in terms of power blocks and the power of the student body, because the whole idea of the governance plan that we've adopted is one of shared governance. And the single philosophy is that there's no decision in the university that does not affect all three segments: faculty, administration, and student body. And I'm hoping that we will work together as a university community rather than the students here and the faculty over here in a set of confrontation politics, because I think this is contrary to the purposes of the university of being an academic community where we have a free flow of ideas. And I think when you get this polarization of groups, certainly you do not have that.
There aren't that many people who are pacified. Our area is called pacified, and yet Viet Cong walked through my hospital the other night, 4 weeks ago, shot one of my village medical assistants only because he was dumb enough to step out of his room. We knew the VC were there, and we have learned that the best thing to do is stay in our rooms. No, the Viet Cong are all over Vietnam, and if they do not develop land reform, develop some of the resources that are so vitally needed, like electricity and job opportunities and lumber mills. The only lumber mill in Tuan Duc Province, Lam Dong District, was built by the Viet Cong. You can imagine how loyal those few people are to the Viet Cong just because they've got a job in a lumber mill, not because they know diddly squat about godless materialism.
We have always argued that the UN resolution calling for Israeli withdrawal should be honored. But we are equally firm in our belief that Israel's entity should be fully protected, and therefore we would have no sympathy with an attempt to reoccupy by force what may be claimed to be one's own territory, when by acceptance of the logic of previous developments, it is recognized to be otherwise. We do believe that the only way to bring about any adjustments, if adjustments are needed, should be by negotiation.
What type of a game do you think it'll be? A repeat of last Saturday's with hopes for the Frogs to be on top?
Well, I think so. Well, we just looked at their film this morning against Oklahoma, and it was a good football game for 3 quarters. I think the big thing is there is they're extremely large on defense, and they're going to be tough to move, but I think we can throw on them, and it should be a real interesting football game.
Now, Steve completed 21 out of 35 against Purdue, didn't he?
Right. He had a good day. The only thing wrong is we didn't throw enough. After we looked at the film this morning, we didn't throw enough because they gave us the outs and the short passes, and if I had to play them again, I think I'd probably throw 60 passes.
Well, now, in opening up against Wisconsin, do they have as big a defensive team as Purdue? Are you going to throw more, do you think?
Well, I think they're as large as Purdue. I don't believe they move quite as well as Purdue. No, we're going to stick with our run game to start with, try to establish something, and then if we can get our run game established, then we can start throwing.
How's your secondary holding up?
Our secondary is holding up good. We started 4 sophomores, and they played well. We only got burned a couple of times on long passes, but this will happen to young boys, and I'm well pleased with it.
At a time in our history when natural beauty is really at a premium in America, and when many Americans spend many hours going places to find an opportunity to spend a leisure hour or two looking at the trees or watching the grass grow, something of a paradox has developed in West Fort Worth. Because here in this rather large area, the City of Fort Worth Park and Recreation Department had intended to spend up to $60,000 installing hardtop roads, a shelter area, and picnic facilities for persons to come here and to enjoy this last bit of wild area within the confines of Fort Worth. The area is surrounded by, to say the least, very comfortable homes, and many of the people who live there don't want the park improved because, they say, an improved park would probably bring hippies and dope and electric music. They presented a petition to the City Council through their attorney.
They are now ready to work with the Park Department in hopefully exploring the possibility of making it amenable and available to children, to the Boy Scouts, or to people in general.
Does it trouble you and your clients that an element of society has kept people from allowing a park to be built in their neighborhood?
Well, of course, it is a very troublesome thought and one that disturbs all of us.
Improvement of the park is certainly not without proponents altogether. There are those who say that a little electric music and a few people with long hair is certainly no reason not to improve this area of Fort Worth. City Councilman Ted C. Peters sees both points of view.
As far as this particular instance is concerned, I felt like that the problem that was expressed there about the element of people that would frequent our parks and do, in fact, do this, would be something that would be undesirable. I feel like that's a problem within itself. I feel that we are combating that problem, and I think that very shortly all of us will see an improved situation in that area.
There are those who prefer to wait until the hippie movement, as they choose to call it, goes away before the park is improved. There are others who say that time may be a long time coming. In the meantime, the matter comes up for more discussion at the next Park and Recreation Board meeting on October 7th. Jerry Taft, Channel 8 News on the Move in West Fort Worth.